The European Union is negotiating a trade and investment deal with the United States, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or TTIP. In 2013, EU governments gave the European Commission a mandate to negotiate TTIP. Now, the negotiation process, with the participation of the European Parliament, business and trade unions, consumer rights and other public interest groups, and the public, is on its way. In some European member states, there have been protests and controversial debates about TTIP. However, some of it not always based on facts. We want to clarify some of the most common myths. TTIP is a secretive trade deal undermining our democracy.
TTIP is a trade agreement that is being negotiated as other previous free trade agreements under a mandate that was given by the member states to the European Commission. Trade policy is an exclusive EU competence, so normally it's the European Commission that negotiates trade agreements on behalf of all EU member states. Contrary to other free trade agreements, TTIP has been subject to wide public debate. The position papers and the positions of the EU side have been made public. They are available on the website of the European Commission. So we would say that contrary to other agreements, this one has been quite transparent.
TTIP works against the interests of the citizens.
TTIP is a free trade agreement that will be beneficial for the whole European society. For companies, both big and small, for workers, and also for the consumer. And why is that? Well, we all know that big companies are already invested heavily both in the EU and the US. For them, TTIP is important, but is not a must. For small and medium-sized companies that are still trying to enter the US market, this is a very important deal. It will allow them to have better conditions to do business in the US market, for instance, by eliminating customs duty that in sectors like ceramics or like textiles are still in many cases above 20%. Having new business opportunities for European companies means that they are investing more in Europe, they are creating more jobs in Europe, and this is also a positive angle for European workers. We must not forget that small and medium-sized companies are the backbone of the European economy, representing more than 90% of the business. Business Europe as well is composed by the national federations of European member states. For us, their interests are key. On the other end, this agreement will also allow consumers, particularly EU consumers, to have access to more goods and services at a more competitive price.
TTIP will lower our high European standards.
The objective of TTIP is to even improve the standards, or at least make sure that we have the EU and US with high-level standards in a number of areas, being on consumer protection, being on environment, being on labor conditions. Because the EU and US still represent 40% of the world economy, if the two agreed on high-level standards, this could also set a benchmark for the world.
The Investor State Dispute Settlement, ISDS, will only profit big businesses.
ISDS, or investment protection, is mainly directed to small and medium-sized companies. These are the ones that are normally more vulnerable, particularly European small and medium-sized companies when they are invested in third countries. We know that governments sometimes take decisions that go against international treaties, that are discriminatory, like, for instance, they take decisions that can lead to expropriation. In these cases, we need to have a mechanism that protects the interests of our investors and that makes sure that in this case they are properly compensated